Everyone, Buddha here, gonna bring you the second game of the series. This is round 3 from the Gamecom Open tournament. It is an open tournament, free to register for everyone, so either between bronze and grandmaster, everyone can register. There are $2,000 in prizes at the end, so there are a few big names such as Vibe and Cheesy. They have sent me their games, so definitely look for those later on. In the first game of this series, Goldman actually forgot to wall off, and our opponent, azngoodboi, who apparently is playing random because he was Zerg in the last game, just streamed in Lings and Banelings into his main base and completely ravaged about 5 Marines from Goldman at the 6-minute mark, and that was game. From there, a lot of Lings just streamed in and ravaged the SCV line. So we'll just have to see if Goldman can actually take a game from azngoodboi in this series. azngoodboi now spawning as a Protoss, and this is a loser's pick map. So Goldman did choose Xel'Naga Caverns. I guess he feels he is favored on this map, or he feels it is his better map. And we'll just have to see what happens. Goldman is a Platinum player and azngoodboi is a Masters player, but Masters random always have a weak point, a weak matchup actually. So if azngoodboi's weak matchup is PvT, he might actually struggle in this game, and maybe he's not random. Actually, these SCVs trying to pick off this single probe, but not very efficient here. He should actually just follow one SCV, follow that probe with a single SCV, and let those other one mine, because he just lost a lot of mining time here for nothing. So Goldman, I know you're going to be watching this. Don't follow 5 SCVs on one probe. That is not efficient. So Goldman actually finishing his barracks, throwing down his gas, and very standard by azngoodboi, throwing down a gateway and his gas at the same time, throwing down his cybernetics core as well. So no funky play here by any of these players. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'll speed it up for now because nothing is happening too much. A second gas going up for azngoodboi already, so this might be very sentry heavy. We'll just have to see how Goldman actually reacts. He is throwing down the tech lab already and building Marauders. Marauders very good in this matchup since they can slow down those stalkers and enable the Terran to actually pick them off one by one with that concussive shelf. So look for Stimpack actually to get research first. Throwing down 2 more barracks, so we will be seeing much more earlier aggression by Goldman than azngoodboi. Actually throwing down 2 more gates, actually 1 gate and 1 robo. The robo finishing before the second gate. We'll just have to wait and see what he decides to build out of this. He should be getting a server first. No, he decides to actually get an immortal. And the scan going down for Goldman. He sees there is nothing. He will start moving out here. He actually got harassed by the first stalker and lost a bit of health on that Marauder. Sorry, SCVs are in the base, not out on the map. And Goldman actually taking control of the map right now, moving out with a small force. But azngoodboi will be very ready for this, especially with that Marauder up and walking around. He does huge damage to these Marauders, and that is just not enough army for Goldman to actually bust up on this, especially with the high ground here. He should poke up with the 1 Marine and just go back, because those force fields could be devastating if he does get trapped. He does see that there are way too many units and will run away with Stim. He actually decides to engage here. Poor choice by Goldman. He should actually just run back home, because no way he's doing any damage. He actually hits those rocks twice with the Marauders. He decides to actually walk back here and try and poke up and do whatever damage he can with these Marauders, but they will end up being picked off by this Immortal, getting 2 kills there, single shots on those Marauders. So actually Goldman losing a bit more here in that engagement, but manages to pick off still a decent amount of resources by azngoodboi. And now a whole bunch of production by our hero Goldman, but only Immortals coming out for azngoodboi. The Observer finally making its way across the map. He should be careful here because the scan could actually pick off that Observer and keep him in the dark. But Goldmon actually is using up all that energy for Mules, just now throwing down his second gas. So he is gearing up for an expansion. You can see him throwing down bunkers. Meanwhile, azngoodboi already has his Nexus, so he will get that base just slightly before Goldmon. Goldmon just now sending that SCV to start that base. Now has 400 minerals. He should start it, and there it goes. Still producing off these 3 barracks, getting the engineering bay, but I don't think he has +1 just yet. His army actually moving across the map. He did have +1, so I did miss that. Sorry, guys. He does have a +1 army with Sim, so this could actually do a lot of damage if he positions himself well. So great force fields here by azngoodboi, trapping the entire army in the center here. You can actually see 2 Marauders and 2 Marines trapped in the center here, and Goldmon will really have to do something. He is now behind in supply. He is actually way ahead in Harvesters here, so azngoodboi now just starting to chrono boost that Nexus to get his worker count at least evened up with the Terran. And Goldmon will be able to produce a lot more than azngoodboi, at least for a few minutes. And Goldmon actually saying he is only platinum, doesn't even believe in himself. Hopefully he will be able to take out a game here. He is our hero player, so we hope he will be able to take one. Now engaging here, azngoodboi is actually has great position, but decides to go back. That Immortal didn't take a single shot. He could have actually taken out that bunker. I do think so, that he did have enough. Retreating though, playing it safe behind that expansion. And he is now actually catching up in Harvesters, just now producing another Observer because he did lose that one early on. Now Factory going up for Goldmon, as well as his Orbital Command and 2 more barracks, so you will be producing a lot of units here. Still no add-on on this Factory. Might he go for tanks, or will he build a reactor to double medevac that? He does go for a reactor and add on a starport right next to it. So he will be able to get a few medevacs and most likely drop here in this game. Now this army moving across the middle of the map will be intercepted by a few Stalkers, but these Stalkers are out of position. They have separated from the main army, stimming to pick away at these Stalkers. A little blunder here by azngoodboi, losing 2 Stalkers for nothing. And now Blink almost halfway done. This pylon will go down, and actually azngoodboi lost a lot of units for nothing. He is going to engage this though. He has a lot more units, and Goldmon is not in a good position. He stims and runs away, and azngoodboi decides to back off once more. He could be a bit more aggressive here because he does have the superior army, although Goldmon is ahead in supply. He does have 46 to only 34 Harvesters for the Protoss player, and now destroying these rocks. So that supply advantage is by SCVs only, and he will be able to produce a lot more than his opponent. Just now starting combat shields actually, and those will make those Marines a lot more bulky, especially against Zealots. Unfortunately, there are no Zealots, only Stalkers here in azngoodboi's army, and if he doesn't keep chrono boosting those Nexus or Nexis, he will fall behind in economy here. He has 34 to 48 Harvesters for Goldmon, so I think that azngoodboi, this might not be his main race. He is forgetting to produce a lot of Harvesters. Actually, Goldmon will be able to macro up so much more. You can see the army tab already 118 supply to 94 supply by azngoodboi. So Goldmon's army is really looking strong right now. azngoodboi looking for that gold base. If he does manage to keep this up and running, he will maybe get the advantage. But now moving across the map with a few Stalkers. Remember, they have Blink, so they will force a cancel here. Goldmon, you have to cancel this. He does manage to cancel it. So denying a third base, well done by azngoodboi. But again, it will all come down to if he can hold this gold base, because his income is really behind Goldmon's right now. He will decide to engage here in the gold base, stimming a bit too early, but getting nice position, forcing the cancel here, and with a nice concave, he should be able to take this army out. These Zealots actually moving forward, a single Immortal here by Asian Good Boy. It won't be enough. Actually, these two medevacs already ran out of energies. Not going to be any kind of use in this battle. But goldmon might just overrun Asian Good Boy with units here. He still has a great concave, not the best force fields, doing the job to split up a few marauders here, but he will be able to clean this up. And Asian Good Boy leaves the game without even GGing, so that was definitely his worst matchup, his PVT. So look for game 3 here. goldmon actually taking a game from Asian Good Boy, a Masters player. So tune in for game 3.